The chubby guy named Jang Hyuk got hepatitis from overexhaustion and became disliked by everyone, which became an external danger from then on. His parents would visit him wearing masks. As soon as he pulled the neighboring patient's bed curtain, the patients in the same ward would be startled, afraid of being infected. To protect a female patient, Dae-yoon voluntarily approached Jang Hyuk, but didn't let others near him. This type of illness isn't contagious, it just sounds quite scary. Since the patient's emotions were running high, Dae-yoon reluctantly pulled the bed curtain. Dae-yoon had to pull the curtain aside to comfort Jang Hyuk, saying she would add some secret ingredients. To La Jang-hee's surprise, Dae-yoon even kissed the IV bag. From that moment, Jang Hyuk fell in love with being hospitalized. However, late at night he found Dae-yoon smoking, a stark contrast that made his heart flutter. But then he noticed the ring on Dae-yoon's hand and realized it was just her graduation ring. Just then, the head nurse appeared in the hallway, angrily questioning who was smoking. Dae-yoon quickly redirected the cigarette and threw the blame on Jang Hyuk. The head nurse, without distinguishing the details, scolded Jang Hyuk for breaking the rules. The next day, Dae-yoon found Jang Hyuk at work and thanked him first. Seeing Jang Hyuk eating, Dae-yoon casually joined him without fear of getting infected. As a reward for the delicious food, Dae-yoon bought Jang Hyuk a drink and affectionately called him Little Hee-ji. During night shifts, Dae-yoon would even lie at the foot of Jang Hyuk's bed to sleep, making Jang Hyuk too scared to move. Jang Hyuk felt that Dae-yoon had an interest in him and sent a message to his close friends about it. Everyone said that Jang Hyuk had lost his mind. Following that, Jang Hyuk quietly prepared small surprises, such as oranges and hot drinks in a thermos. He also helped Dae-yoon and made little heart shapes. Dae-yoon would occasionally ask Jang Hyuk about his identity and informed the head nurse that he wanted to take a break. However, once outside, it turned into Dae-yoon sitting in a wheelchair enjoying the food, while Jang Hyuk diligently pushed him. During another food-sharing moment, Dae-yoon not only praised him but also mentioned that Jang Hyuk's mother must be a great cook and that his girlfriend would surely be very happy. Jang Hyuk suddenly said that he did not have a girlfriend and appreciated Dae-yoon's care. Jang Hyuk was quickly discharged from the hospital, but he felt a bit reluctant to leave. He planned to confess his feelings before leaving but couldn't find the head nurse. Dae-yoon suddenly became a part of Jang Hyuk's life. Although Jang Hyuk felt somewhat lost, even his friends thought he might be hallucinating. Unwilling to accept this, he returned to the hospital to secretly check the nurse's contact list, found Dae-yoon's name, and prepared to dial the number. However, before he could see the number, the head nurse stopped him. After questioning, he had no choice but to go home and try each number until a familiar voice answered. Jang Hyuk finally learned that Dae-yoon had been unwell recently and had taken a few days off. Jang Hyuk was very worried upon hearing this and honestly shared his feelings with Dae-yoon, expressing how much he really liked her. As he was about to hang up the phone, Dae-yoon seemed to make a sudden decision and invited him over to her place. Without hesitation, Jang Hyuk drove his father's car and hurried to Dae-yoon's house. When he arrived, he noticed Do-en's tousled hair and, without showing any unease, exaggeratedly commented on it. As he was about to leave in a rush, Dae-yoon took the initiative to invite him to stay longer. Although nothing happened between them, the next morning, Jang Hyuk actively helped Dae-yoon by fixing the lights. This gesture deeply moved Dae-yoon, and she responded by giving him a heartfelt kiss, marking the beginning of their relationship. From then on, Jang Hyuk always used the excuse of visiting sick friends to go to the hospital to give Dae-yoon some warmth. After work, he would drive his dad's luxury car to pick up Dae-yoon and take him to high-end restaurants for fine dining, using his mom's credit card. One day, Jang Hyuk suddenly noticed that Dae-yoon's ring was missing. Dae-yoon, unconcerned, said it might have been lost when she took it off. The parents were hysterical, unable to believe that their son could be so inattentive. Little did they know, their son was lovingly massaging his girlfriend's legs after a long day. That day, Dae-yoon excitedly announced that a friend was transferring a spot for a trip to Jeju Island and asked if Jang Hyuk wanted to go. He agreed without hesitation. As they were shopping for couple outfits, Jang Hyuk suddenly realized how overweight he had become. The largest size of couple outfits he tried on did not fit at all. Seeing the outfits of other couples, he made up his mind to lose weight. To soothe his boyfriend's feelings, Dae-yoon gave him a pair of couple shoes. Jang Hyuk vowed to wear the shoes and work hard to slim down. The desire to lose weight has never been this strong. Following the usual storyline, Jang Hyuk finally transformed from being overweight into a lean, handsome guy. Jang Hyuk was noticed by his boss and sent to work at a large company. This also meant that he and Dae-yoon would see each other less and spend more time apart. To soothe Dae-yoon's feelings, Jang-hyuk bought a new car to make commuting easier and put a ring on Dae-yoon's finger to make up for the loss of her graduation ring. The daily traffic jams added some fun to Jang-hyuk's life. On his first day at the new job, Jang-hyuk noticed that Bo-young, who shared the same role, was particularly hostile toward him. Every time their eyes met, Jang-hyuk could sense Bo-young's death stare. After sharing this with Dae-yoon, she suggested that he invite everyone to coffee to ease tensions. The next day, Jang-hyuk bought coffee for all his colleagues, and Bo-young volunteered to help distribute it. However, she used this opportunity to present the coffee to the boss, making it seem as though she had bought it herself. During work, Bo-young would deliberately pass on incorrect information, causing Jang-hyuk to embarrass himself in front of the team leader. When Jang-hyuk confronted Bo-young about it, she gave him a piece of candy, leaving him too frustrated to argue further. He could only go home and vent to Dae-yoon. At this point, Jang-hyuk was too absorbed in his own anger and not caring about the story Dae-yoon shared about a patient with the same name or their travel plans. The only thing on his mind was finding Bo-young's flaws and making her look bad. Unexpectedly, he soon managed to turn the tables on Bo-young. Afterward, he focused all his energy on getting revenge on her. Bo-young's design was praised by the boss, but Jang-hyuk couldn't stand her smug expression, so he pointed out the flaws in her work. From then on, Jang-hyuk began mocking Bo-young at every opportunity, and as her work became more challenging, she became increasingly disheveled. Jang-hyuk proudly shared his initial victory with Dae-yoon. However, just as they were about to get intimate, Jang-hyuk suddenly fell asleep. The intense work schedule and constant commuting between two cities soon took a toll on his body. Feeling sorry for her boyfriend, Dae-yoon suggested that he stay in the city where he worked during the week, and they could just meet on weekends. Little did she know, this would create a huge problem for herself. Watching Bo-young working tirelessly every day, Jang-hyuk started to notice her more and more, and even during meetings he helped her adjust her designs, all while forgetting that Dae-yoon had asked for a day off. The next day, Bo-young's design finally passed inspection, and she happily treated everyone to a meal. Her carefree behavior was repeatedly corrected by Jang-hyuk. Soon after, the team leader called both Bo-young and Jang-hyuk over and assigned them a new task. Their interactions started to become more frequent. Meanwhile, Jang-hyuk and Dae-yoon began to drift apart, often unable to meet due to conflicting work schedules. As the boss relied more on Jang-hyuk, his workload increased, and he began to brush Dae-yoon off, constantly using being busy as an excuse. Yet he secretly exchanged flirtatious glances with Bo-young. After their work achievements were praised by the higher-ups, Bo-young suggested that she and Jang-hyuk celebrate with drinks. This time, it was an exclusive dinner for just the two of them. However, when Dae-yoon said she had something important to tell him, Jang-hyuk lied, claiming he was working overtime and that the boss was around, making it impossible for him to leave. Right after hanging up the phone, Jang-hyuk continued to drink. Jang-hyuk found himself alone with Bo-young during another overtime session. Just as Bo-young was about to cross the line between them, Jang-hyuk panicked and fled. Feeling irritated after being stuck in traffic, Jang-hyuk entered his home only to be directed by Dae-yoon to fix a broken light bulb. Annoyed, he felt that Dae-yoon only cared about herself. However, when she informed him that she was pregnant, Jang-hyuk immediately used the excuse of taking out the trash to avoid confronting the situation. While at work, Jang-hyuk learned that Dae-yoon was already 4 weeks pregnant, yet he reacted with a complex expression. Dae-yoon later went to the hospital to have the baby aborted, but Jang-hyuk failed to notice that she had even gotten her hair done. Afterward, as they lay in bed, Jang-hyuk's constantly ringing phone woke them up again. Dae-yoon urged him to deal with work, but she couldn't help feeling downhearted. Over time, Jang-hyuk grew tired of commuting between the two cities, constantly exhausted and barely able to stay awake, even when stuck in traffic. Jang-hyuk began falling asleep in traffic during his commute. When he got home each day, he and Dae-yoon started turning their backs to each other, even skipping hugs. Dae-yoon felt bad and wanted to let Jang-hyuk sleep a little longer, but when he overslept, the first thing he did was call and blame her. Bo-young, seeing this, couldn't stand it any longer. That night, she deliberately stopped Jang-hyuk, using concerns about work progress as an excuse, and asked him to stay the night. Jang-hyuk decided to stay, even though it meant dealing with the situation over a late-night meal. Dae-yoon insisted that Jang-hyuk needed to work extra hours. In the following workdays, Jang-hyuk using work as an excuse, stopped visiting Dae-yoon and instead focused on Bo-young. When the weekend came, Jang-hyuk and Dae-yeon had a private date, but it was clear that the mood was completely distant. They were both frustrated, and Dae-yoon, feeling affected, even asked Jang-hyuk if he was exhausted from spending time with her. Seeing Dae-yoon's tears softened Jang-hyuk, who patiently wiped them away. However, his attempts to comfort her only added to her distress. Dae-yoon was overwhelmed when Jang-hyuk, trying to calm her down, accidentally called her by another woman's name. This was a devastating blow to Dae-yoon. Realizing his mistake, Jang-hyuk felt guilty, but Dae-yeon could no longer tolerate it and had to confront him about who the other woman was. Jang-hyuk, feeling guilty, was left pointing fingers at ordinary colleagues. Dae-yeon and Jang-hyuk went their separate ways. Dae-yeon sent Jang-hyuk the ring back, and they went their separate ways. Jang-hyuk, who was eager to move on, occasionally found himself missing Dae-yeon's tenderness, even losing focus while looking at nurses. As the end-of-year meeting approached, Jang-hyuk's assignment was ending, and he was about to return to his original company, while Bo-young was planning to study abroad. Their separate paths meant that they had no future together. While Jang-hyuk was drinking alone in misery, he suddenly saw a new update from Dae-yeon about a trip to Jeju Island. Jang-hyuk initially thought that Dae-yeon was still thinking about him. He then realized Dae-yeon's worth. Jang-hyuk hurried back to his workstation, put on Dae-yeon's ring, and rushed to the airport as quickly as he could. Soon, Jang-hyuk saw a familiar figure and watched as she enthusiastically greeted him. He smiled and ran towards her but ended up colliding with someone. It turned out that Dae-yeon wasn't greeting Jang-hyuk, and that the person waiting was not him but rather the fat Jang-hyuk. Here's what actually happened a year and 7 months ago. Dae-yeon and Jang-hyuk he fell in love and made a promise to visit Jeju Island every Christmas. Later, Jang-hyuk he went on a business trip out of town and developed an ambiguous relationship with a female colleague. Heartbroken, Dae-yeon met Fat Bro 3 months ago and began dating him. His name was also Jang-hyuk, but with a different surname, Lee. He filled the void left by Jang-hyuk, offering love and companionship. He helped Dae-yeon with things like taking out the trash and fixing light bulbs, and took care of her after surgery. Eventually, Dae-yeon removed the ring and broke up with Jang-hyuk, happily starting a new relationship with Fat Bro. Watching them leave, Jang-hyuk realized that he had completely lost Dae-yeon. Furious at his failed attempt to reconcile, Jang-hyuk he angrily kicked a trash can. But he had no right to say anything. To Dae-yeon, Jang-he was now a thing of the past. Her boyfriend now is Lee Jang-hyuk. Thanks for watching. Like and drop a heart to help our channel out.